want you to appreciate this is what passes for an activist these days. And on both sides, it's the problem. It is a problem. It's our problem. It's not beneficial to you and I. Because people do not think before they speak. Keep in mind, I have a lot of lazy presentations online, but I'm still not shopping around propaganda. I'm not misleading you by example. I'm not. You guys could run through what I've left online. I've been at this for over 10 years. This is what I'm rattling off here. And I can't post to my primary account on TikTok right now because TikTok is censoring me. Everything I post gets kicked into the drafts. 99% says it's going to finish, and then it doesn't. It gets moved to the drafts because I'm not allowed to circulate things right now on that account. So I said, it's not a country. Stating as much reinforces a phony jurisdiction in place to subjugate the masses. Now, I understand you don't have the context, which is why I'm going to play the beginning of the video, and then you will have the context. Then you can think about this again. But how many of you have stuck around this far? Or this long? Most people tune the fuck out. And this has to do with horrible fucking things that would not exist today if people understood what was going on. I also need to appreciate when you look up at night, that's Israel. It's the heel catcher. It's Jacob. People call it the Zodiac. They also call it the Mazzaroth. Really, it's the guided fucking stars. And people don't understand this. And yet, you and I were born into one of the 12 houses, not 13, 12. We were born under one of them because this is a big deal. Now, another reason why I said it's not a country is because it's an earthly abomination. It's divisive, it's propaganda, it's an agenda, and it's an old school agenda. I mean, if people were paying attention, we would have seen this coming because we were told that it was coming. Because it's a consent-based system. And we paved the way for this. In other words, complacency got us this far. But now we have superficial internet babies who are quote-unquote activists. And that's what you're going to hear primarily speaking. Here we go.
Well, you shouldn't support Israel because that's what they're doing, right?
I do support Israel.
Okay, so why do you...
I also need to say this. I'm going to leave this online. Here, I'll pinch it and I'll take out my, I'm eating food. It won't let me save it. That's great. So I guess I will play it, but I'll play it without any of my background noises. When I post this, it's probably going to be censored on YouTube and on TikTok. But I want you to understand that 5,000 people have seen this already. 480 have circulated this. But I bet you none of them have taken an issue with what I just said. In other words, they didn't recognize propaganda at its finest. Which is some of the first things this superficial internet baby, craps out. All right. 1 second, I'll stop this, then I'll splice in the video without all the noises.
Well, you shouldn't support Israel because that's what they're doing, right?
I do support Israel.
Okay, so why do you support a country that is killing innocent 5-year-old girls?
It's not that they're... Okay.
It is that they're killing them. You could, like I said, you could literally go see a video on the internet of Israel dropping bombs on an elementary school, and then they are inflamed, they're in fire, and they're falling to pieces. Meanwhile, there's the figures of children running around in the school that's on fire, dying. Like, I know that's uncomfortable, but that's what's happening. That's what you support, and you're avoiding that fact.
I'm not avoiding that fact.
So then address it head on. How can you support a country that is doing that?
Do you support the United States?
Do I support the United States? I'll answer your question after you answer my question.
Well, no, it's a legitimate question because...
It's a question that is being used as a deflection away from what I'm asking you. You have not addressed the substance of this conversation the whole time you've been on here, and this is what happens every single time I get a pro-Israel Zionist in this live. Y'all don't answer the questions, y'all don't address reality, y'all just try to weasel your way through the facts, because for whatever reason, you think you have a moral obligation to support an apartheid genocidal state. It's insane to me. It should be common sense that we should not, that we should not be supporting these things. It's obvious. It's so obvious. Manufactured stage 5 famine onset by Israeli blockades on food and water? Shouldn't support Israel. Wiping out and killing all of the remaining Al Jazeera press members? in Gaza 2 days after they pass legislation to ethnically cleanse and annex the rest of Gaza shouldn't support Israel. You know, like for instance, I'll frame this in a different sense, and hopefully we could have you understand here. Okay, Russia and Ukraine. Imagine if Russia passed legislation to take control over the totality of Ukraine, and then systemically starved the Ukrainians for 4 months to weaken them by blocking trade and water routes into the country, specifically dropped bombs on hospitals, schools, and churches, and took out all of the remaining journalists on the strip in press tents.
Well,
Would you ever support Russia if they did those things to Ukraine?
No, did Ukraine attack Russia and threaten to kill all Russians?
Oh, so now you're saying Ukraine as a whole. So you think that all Palestinians are culpable for what Hamas has said?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, so then a counter question would not be, did Ukraine say these things? Because when you say Ukraine, you'd indicate all Ukrainians.
I mean, did the Ukrainian government say, hey, let's unalive all the Russians, let's attack them at a festival and take them hostage and kill their babies?
Assuming that they did, would you still support Russia if they did all of those things to the innocent Ukrainians?
I would think that Ukraine would no longer have like any sort of viable claim to be right and keep their land and keep their government.
Ah, so you do indeed think that the innocent Palestinians are culpable for the statements and actions of some Hamas members?
No.
Okay, well then why did you just tell me that the innocent Ukrainians would be culpable and responsible for the actions of some members within the Ukrainian government? Because you just told me that Russia would be in the wrong for systemically starving and killing innocent Ukrainians if their government didn't launch threats against Russians or attacks on Russians. But now you're telling me if some members of their government did launch attacks and threats on Russians, then the innocent Ukrainians would not have a right to live or to said land. And I think that's like the big issue with your view here, is that you're telling me that you think that all Palestinians are culpable for the actions of some Hamas members on October 7th. I think it's common sense to conclude what Hamas did to Israel on October 7th was fucking wrong, okay? Like, UN has concluded that there were rapes, there were killings, anybody should be able to conclude that that's wrong. Well, you shouldn't support Israel, because that's what they're doing, right? Common
I do
sense.
support Israel.
Okay, so why do you